Welcome to Psyche Talks. Today, we're going to dive deep into the ideas in that audio recording of The Secret. You know, the one based on the book by Rhonda Byrne?
The law of attraction. It's definitely sparked a lot of conversation, hasn't it?
It really has. And our goal today is, well, to unpack it a bit, look at the core concepts, try and pull out the key takeaways.
Yeah, and the recording itself features quite a mix of voices, different teachers, authors, specialists, all weighing in.
Which gives us a few different angles, yeah. And for you listening, we want to sort of cut through maybe some of the hype.
And just get to the core message.
Exactly. Clear, hopefully actionable insights without, getting lost in the weeds. So let's maybe start with the absolute core principle, the law of attraction itself.
Right. The central idea they hammer home is like attracts like. But importantly, it's at the level of thought.
So not just physical things attracting each other, but our thoughts attracting, well, similar thoughts or experiences.
Experiences, primarily. They frame the universe as this single infinite power that's guided by these really precise natural laws. It's all very orderly.
Okay. And our thoughts fit into this how?
They're described as having, like, a magnetic force. Each thought has its own frequency, and it attracts things, experiences, people on a similar frequency.
So my thoughts are literally sending out signals, like a radio tower.
That's the analogy they use, yeah. The human mind as this incredibly powerful transmission tower, broadcasting frequencies with our thoughts. And those broadcasts will create our life experiences.
Which leads directly to that phrase, thoughts become things.
Precisely. It's the cornerstone of the whole philosophy presented in the recording.
And it's not just the thoughts we're consciously aware of, is it? They talk about unconscious thoughts, too.
Absolutely. Both conscious and, maybe more importantly, unconscious thought processes are seen as having a major impact. It's not just a fleeting wish.
It's more about the thoughts that dominate our thinking, the ones that are kind of running in the background.
Exactly. The predominant thoughts, that's a key term they use, the ones we return to again and again, whether that's thinking about having plenty or worrying about not having enough. Those are shaping our reality according to this view.
That makes sense of that don't want idea they bring up. It feels a bit counterintuitive.
It does, doesn't it? Like you're focusing hard on, I don't want debt, but the law of attraction, as they describe it, just here's debt.
Because it's impersonal.
Totally impersonal. It just responds to the frequency, the vibration of the thought itself. It doesn't care if it's something you desire or something you dread. If the focus is on debt, you're vibrating at a debt frequency.
So the trick is to consciously shift focus to what you do want. Abundance, not debt.
That's the shift they emphasize. Because in this framework, your thoughts aren't just reflections, they're actively creating what comes next.
Okay, but it feels like there's more to it than just the thoughts themselves. What about feelings? Emotions seem really central in the recording.
Oh, massively important. Emotions are presented as your feedback system. They tell you instantly what frequency you're broadcasting on.
So feeling good means you're on a good frequency, one that attracts positive things.
That's the idea. Feeling good puts you on the frequency of receiving good things. Love, joy, gratitude, those are powerful frequencies.
And negative emotions, feeling down, worried, angry.
They're seen as indicators that you're on a frequency that might be blocking the good stuff from coming in, creating resistance.
But we can change how we feel, right? They mention ways to shift your mood quickly.
Yeah, they call them secret shifters. Little things you can do intentionally to change your emotional state, and therefore your frequency. Like putting on your favorite song, thinking about someone you love, remembering a happy time.
Simple things, really.
Simple, but potentially powerful in this context. And they position love as the absolute highest frequency, the ultimate attractor. It connects the law of attraction very closely to what you might call a law of love.
Okay, so thoughts and feelings create the frequency. How do we actually use this, like practically, to manifest things? There's a process, isn't there?
Yes, they lay out a 3-step creative process. Ask, believe, receive.
Step 1, ask. What does that involve? Just thinking about what you want?
It's about getting crystal clear, really knowing specifically what you desire. And they suggest writing it down, actually, in the present tense.
As if you already have it.
Exactly, like you're placing an order from a catalog, the universe's catalog. And interestingly, they say you only need to ask once with real clarity and intention.
Not repeating it over and over.
Nope. Ask clearly once. The universe supposedly gets the message.
Okay. Step 2, believe. This sounds like the hard part.
Can be, yeah. It requires unwavering faith. Believing deep down that what you asked for is already yours, or at least on its way, without question.
How do you do that?
The advice is to act, speak, and think as if you've already received it, live from that state of having it. The universe, again, is like that mirror. It reflects your dominant thoughts and beliefs. If you believe it's yours, that's what gets reflected.
So you have to embody the feeling of having it already.
That leads right into step 3. Receive.
Which isn't just sitting back and waiting for the doorbell to ring.
No. Receiving is about feeling good now. Feeling the joy, the gratitude, the excitement of having your desire as if it's already manifested. That feeling, that positive emotion, is what tunes you to the frequency of receiving it.
Feeling good is key to letting it in.
That seems to be the message. You need to be on the receiving frequency.
Now, the recording gets into some specific techniques too, doesn't it? Ways to help with the believing and receiving steps, like visualization.
Visualization's a big one, creating really detailed mental images of already having what you want. But it's not just seeing it.
It's feeling it too.
Crucially, yes. Feeling the emotions you would feel if it were real. They even suggest adding movement to your visualizations makes them more potent.
Like imagining driving the car, not just seeing it.
Precisely. They bring up that example of Olympic athletes mentally rehearsing and how the mind apparently struggles to differentiate between vividly imagined and real experiences.
That's fascinating. What else? Gratitude comes up a lot.
Yes, gratitude is presented as incredibly powerful. Not just being thankful after something happens, but cultivating a state of appreciation for what you already have.
Why is that so important?
Because appreciating what you have shifts your focus to abundance, putting you on a frequency to attract more good things. They even talk about giving thanks in advance for what you've asked for.
Believing it's already done.
Exactly. It reinforces that belief.
And affirmations, are those part of it?
Definitely. Using affirmations, consciously stating positive beliefs is another tool, especially using I am statements. I am receiving, I am abundant. They're seen as powerful declarations.
What about things like vision boards?
Yep. Vision boards get a mention. Creating a visual representation of your goals, pictures of the house, the relationship, the job, and looking at it regularly, feeling those feelings of having it now.
And I remember something about, like, writing yourself a check.
The secret check, yeah, from the Bank of the Universe. It's another visualization tool specifically for money. You write a check to yourself for the amount you desire, carry it with you, look at it, and generate the feeling of having that money.
So all these techniques, visualization, gratitude, affirmations, vision boards, the check, they're all ways to help you live as if.
That's the underlying principle, yes, to help you maintain the belief and the feeling state required by the law of attraction.
Okay, but look, people listening might be thinking, if this is real, why isn't everyone living their dream life? That's a fair question.
It is, and the recording addresses it. The main answer given circles back to focus, that most people, often unconsciously, are focusing more on what they don't want, on lack, on problem.
We don't want epidemic again.
Pretty much. And also, the fear of negative thoughts comes up. People worry, what if I have a bad thought?
Yeah, does that ruin everything?
The perspective offered is that affirmative positive thoughts are inherently much more powerful than negative ones.
Yeah.
And also, there's a buffer, a time delay in manifestation.
So it's not instant. That gives you time to change your mind.
Or change your dominant frequency, yeah. It's presented as a safety feature, actually.
What about attracting bad things, like accidents or illness? People worry about that.
That's a sensitive point. The explanation given is that you attract unwanted events by consistently being on a vibrational match with them through persistent negative thinking or fear. Not necessarily thinking about that specific event, but being in that negative frequency range.
But it still emphasizes personal control.
Very much so. It stresses that you have the choice and the ability to control your own frequency through your thoughts and feelings. And acknowledging that monitoring, all 60,000 thoughts a day is impossible.
Right, that sounds exhausting.
So the practical advice is, don't try to police every thought. Instead, focus on how you feel. Use your feelings as the guide. Aim to feel good.
And the idea that there's enough to go around, no need to worry about scarcity.
Yes, they strongly counter the idea of limitation, proposing that the universe has an unlimited supply available to everyone, enough abundance, health, happiness for all.
Let's look at how they apply this to specific areas. Money, for instance. That's a big one for many people.
For money, the core idea is shifting from a lack mentality focusing on bills, debt not having enough, to an abundance mentality.
How? Just thinking, I'm rich.
It's more about cultivating the feeling of wealth now, making believe you already have the money you desire, feeling happy and grateful now, not waiting until the money arrives.
And giving money, how does that fit in?
Giving money away with a feeling of abundance and joy is presented as a way to signal to the universe that you have plenty, thereby attracting more. And consciously changing your language, shifting from "I can't afford that" to perhaps "I can afford that," even if you just think it.
It's interesting. What about relationships?
Similar principles apply. Ensuring your thoughts, words, actions, and even your surroundings reflect the kind of relationship you want.
So focusing on what you appreciate about someone rather than complaining.
Exactly. Focus on appreciation. And crucially, recognizing that your happiness doesn't depend on the other person. Your joy comes from within you first. Radiating love and positivity is seen as the key to attracting loving relationship.
And health. They connect thoughts directly to physical well-being.
Very directly. The body is seen as a product of thought. They often use the placebo effect as evidence how belief alone can cause physiological changes.
So the advice is to focus on perfect health.
Yes, visualize and feel yourself as perfectly healthy. Release negative thoughts, diagnoses, or limitations about your body. The recording includes personal stories, anecdotes of people claiming significant healing through focused intention and belief.
And they even scale it up to the whole world, right? How our focus affects global events.
Sort of. The idea is that energy flows where attention goes. So if we collectively focus on the problems of the world, war, poverty, disease, and we inadvertently energize those things.
Whereas focusing on positive solutions.
Focusing on trust, love, abundance, education, peace that directs energy towards creating more of those things in the world. It's about choosing where you place your collective attention.
Towards the end, they get a bit more philosophical, talking about the secret of you. What's that about?
It's really about understanding our fundamental nature, according to this philosophy, that everything, including us, is energy. We're all vibrating.
And our frequency is set by.
Our thoughts and feelings. They even draw parallels with quantum physics, suggesting a scientific underpinning for how mind influences matter. We are, in essence, powerful magnets, powerful transmission towers.
And connected.
Deeply connected. Part of one universal energy field, one supreme mind. The implication is that we're not small, limited beings. We're actually unlimited.
Which ties into awareness, being conscious of our thoughts and feelings.
Yes, awareness is key. Being present to what you're thinking and feeling gives you the power to choose.
So what about purpose? Does The Secret tell us what our life purpose is?
Interestingly, no. It suggests your purpose is whatever you say it is. Your mission is the one you give yourself. But the primary aim, underlying everything,
Is joy.
is to feel and experience joy, following your bliss, doing what makes you feel good, that's presented as the path to not just happiness, but also abundance and fulfillment in all areas.
Okay, so pulling this all together for you, the listener, what does it all boil down to? These ideas, they really offer a powerful framework, don't they? A perspective on how much our inner world, our thoughts, our feelings might shape our outer reality.
By understanding these principles, attraction, the ask what you've received process, the importance of your emotional state, you essentially get a toolkit, a way to potentially influence your life more intentionally.
But it's definitely not a magic wand. It's presented as a starting point, really, something to reflect on.
Absolutely. Would encourage you to think about these concepts, maybe try out some of the techniques, see what resonates with your own experience, your own goals. Does it feel right for you?
Because ultimately, the message seems to be that the power to cultivate that mindset, abundance, joy, well-being, it lies within you.
Which leads us to maybe a final thought for you to chew on. If your thoughts truly do have this creative potential, as suggested in the recording, well, it's just one small intentional shift you could make in your dominant thinking pattern, starting today, to begin attracting more of what you genuinely desire.
Thank you for your support and for listening.